Hey guys, today I want to talk about selling Pokemon cards because it seems that everyone wants a slice of the Pokemon card pie. And what I mean by that is every single, I think most people may have picked up on this already, but basically everywhere you look now is selling Pokemon cards. Everyone that has no business selling Pokemon cards is selling Pokemon cards. Everyone that does have business selling Pokemon cards is selling Pokemon cards. But this I feel like this affects a lot of people in a great way. And I'm not even talking about, the resellers, the scalpers, the investors, everyone that everyone hates. But everyone hates on these people, but it's not even them. It's beyond that. And I think that's the true scope of the problem. And so I want to talk about these places that I've been noticing and what it really means. To start off, for example, there are retailers that are large retailers, but not Pokemon cards or trading card retailers. They're large, but not for trading cards. They don't belong here. They belong where they belong, and they're big there, but they still want to enter this business. For example, there's hardware stores, electronic stores, groceries, even like a Shoppers Drug Mart. It's like a the drugstore, drugstore, grocery store-ish type of store. And the the thing about this, the main problem I have with this, also like gas stations, the main problem I have with this is it's not like Walmart or Costco. These are big retailers or that were not like first of all they've always been selling Pokemon cards, so it's not like a problem. And these are retailers that are so large, like on a global scale, where they actually they actually matter to the Pokemon company, which means that, you know, first of all, Walmart goes through a marketing company, MJ Holdings. So does Target, Meyer, companies like that. They're fine because they go through a marketing company. It does not affect, really, it doesn't really affect the local, the local level, like any of the local card stores or you at all. And same with like GameStop and stores like that. They or GameStop and Costco is what I would say. They're also in a different category because you know they have large enough volume that they are getting directly from the Pokemon company, and so they it doesn't have anything to do with, again, us. But these retailers that don't belong here, they're large so that it incentivizes the distributors to work with them, but they're not large at all in Pokemon or trading cards as a whole. So they shouldn't be here, but they are getting distribution because they're a physical store and they're huge. And so distributors, they're like, oh, I don't care it's a grocery store. I don't care it's a hardware store. I want to sell to them because they're a they're a big retailer. And you can literally see even like by like Staples, office supply stores selling Pokemon cards. And so if you go to a Shoppers, some of their products are like repackaged products, like they're authentic cards, but they're like repackaged, like, just like Walmart has the mystery power boxes, stuff like that. If you look on the back, it shows who distributes it, and so it's actually a distributor like that is on the official Pokemon website, which means that these stores like Shoppers, who are large retailers but not Pokemon card sellers, they are now getting their product from official distributors, not from the Pokemon company directly or an untapped source. It's directly from these distributors that local card stores are getting their product from, which means that whenever the allocation comes to go to the distributors, there's already not enough product to go around. That just means you're cutting each slice of the pie thinner. So every single new of these retailers that go in, maybe originally the store, store A that's been running for 10 years gets 100 cases. Maybe they only get 99 now. And they're not going to worry about it too much, just one case, right? It's blame the printing factories, but they're actually just cutting the slice thinner off everyone's cutting the pie thinner on everyone's slice, just to make room for these big retailers that suddenly want to sell Pokemon cards. And if you're making $100 million a year selling groceries, I don't know why you would want to sell, a couple 100,000 of Pokemon. But it is what it is. That's what their management has decided to do. That's the first thing. It's the most blatant. However, there's another thing that's like, it is also now not even large retailers but also small retailers that have nothing to do with Pokemon are also able to attain distribution. For example, there's one random pharmacy that popped up, that I saw couple like a week or two ago, and they sell a bunch of Pokemon cards, and it's basically it's pretty under market price actually. Like if market price is 50, they're selling it for 45, so they're like right under market there, and they get it from a distributor. I've asked them about like, oh, because oh, you got all this product. They got they carry sports, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, but it's a pharmacy, and they said, oh yeah, we just get it from the distributor, and they get weekly restocks. So basically this means, okay, they're constantly getting a restock, siphoning products from these distributors that originally all the product was going to the local card stores. And to their credit, they are selling product a little under market, right? So it's not a huge problem. It's not like, oh, they're taking on this product and then gouging it for 10%, 20% above market, right? Where this product is like, now you're basically like making it even harder to get product. So I guess to their credit, at least they're not making a crazy markup on it. However, it's still crazy that even in times like this where there already isn't enough product to go around, distributors are still certain distributors are still willing to go to the lengths of opening infinite accounts. Like they are still willing to take any accounts as long as you're a physical store, and you don't have to even do anything related to Pokemon or trading cards as a whole. If you want to start today, you can start today. And that's just pretty crazy because they're getting ascended heroes like Chaos Rising, like all the new sets. It's not like, oh, we're gonna ship them all the battle decks. They're getting the hot stuff too, like weekly restocks of ascended heroes. Given it's not much, it's like they have like one case of each product, but they get it weekly. And maybe they have some kind of deal or they know someone, but if they don't, this is just I just feel like that's absurd. This is like where anyone can do this thing, like any like random retailer that has a physical store can do this, even in a time like this. I just feel like that's not right, because you know distributors right now, they won't take online stores, new online store accounts. Like if you just have an online store, they won't take you because they don't have enough product to go around, and so they don't want to be selling to a random Joe on the street who pretends to have an online store when they can be giving their precious allocation to the established brick and mortar stores, right? That's fair. Whenever the times get slow, they have no problem selling to these Joes because they just want money. Now that they have all the money they could need, they don't want to sell to Joe. But for some reason, if you have any brick and mortar store, even if it's not related to trading cards at all, because you're a brick and mortar, you can sell cards, and we'll give you an allocation. I don't know how that works, how that seems to make any sense, but that's what some distributors are doing, and it's a big distributor too. It's not like, oh, the smaller distributors. Some of the larger distributors in Canada I've seen are doing this, and so maybe the people I've seen just happen to know someone, but I see it as a problem. And you know that something that is similar to that, which is even worse, is there are people on local marketplaces that sell in bulk, like by the caseload, like not all one case, two case, like 10 plus cases that they're able to of brand new releases. And I'm talking like booster boxes, ETBs, tins, every single kind of product. And they even sell pre-orders. Like it's not like, oh, it's a one-time thing. They got lucky with something, something. They know people, and because of the corruption, they're able to sell things like this. For example, let me give you an example. Like a couple days ago, I bought 9 cases of the new Mega Moonlight tins from this guy on Facebook, and it was for a good price. And I checked the distributor price for my distributor, and it was like let's say it's like $5-10 more per tin than the distributor, and that's kind of significant. So they're making a good margin, obviously, but still it was like, you know, $10-15 under market, right? So I was like, you got 9 cases, I'll take 9 cases, right? Because the distributor isn't giving me 9 cases of these tins, even if I beg for them. Even if I paid more for them, they just won't give it to me. But for some reason, this random guy who does not have a store, can sell me 9 cases for just $5-10 more than distribution is willing to sell, but he has volume. And then he also said, oh, by the way, if you need more next week, I can give you I can get another 15 cases in. What? You're telling me 15 more cases next week? So obviously this guy isn't scalping it off Walmart. He's getting caseloads of these new products. And like, it's just crazy to me. Like, this is not the first guy that I've dealt with that has sold me bulk amount of stuff, because distributors don't want to give me that much product, but they will give it to them. And I don't really mind. Like, they are making their margin, but it's not their fault. Obviously, it is at its core, it is the distributor's fault that either they got corrupt sales managers, or they just these these account managers, they're just holding backdooring product to their buddies. This is a real thing, literally confirmed by the people that are doing this. They know it. It literally just says, oh, my friend has distribution access, so I can get you 20 cases of these new tins. It's ridiculous, like, how much product that these people can get. And of course, again, it's not to their fault. They're just making money, and it's really the distributor's fault at its core. And so there's two things that are probably happening. One, product that should be going to physical brick and mortar stores, local card stores that are serving, doing the right thing, and serving, so maybe they're selling at MSRP, they're selling slightly above MSRP. They're not going to them, and instead they're going to these random people who will just go and make a quick flip within a week on Facebook. It's really, like, this is one of the biggest problems, if you ask me. It's that it's confirmed that they're, like, firsthand, I've experienced that it's confirmed that they're a backdooring product. And it's just because, at the end of the day, if you got a friend, you're going to help him out. So I'll give them, I got, 1,000 cases to allocate. Sure, I'll slap my buddy 10 cases. No one's going to notice, right? That's what the account managers probably think. And so at its core, it is problematic. I think it's problematic because, they have no business making this money. Good for them that they are, and it's good for me too, because they're selling me by the caseload. I don't have to stress about, acquiring a bunch of product, and they're selling at, reasonable prices. But still, it's like pulling resources out of already an extremely finite amount of pool, right? Because the allocation is already so thin, and still, it just gets spread even more thin by going to people that are completely unrelated to this. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. That is one of the biggest issues. If I were to rank it, that's the biggest problem. Next is the random brick and mortar stores that have nothing to do with trading cards that get distribution access just because they're brick and mortar stores. And then it's the larger retailers that are siphoning product out from the allocations of the local card stores because they suddenly wanted to decide that they wanted to sell cards. And then lastly, this has nothing really to do with distributors, but it just really brings the point home about how everyone's reaching into the pie. Everyone wants a piece of the pie, and how cooked everyone really is. Literally, there's people on Facebook like that message me who on some like Japanese boxes, like, oh, I want 10 boxes. You give me wholesale pricing. Okay, first of all, buddy, your 5 boxes is not wholesale. Second of all, I'm buying it already from a middleman in Japan who is wholesaling it to me, who bought it from whatever other person in Japan, right? Or whatever. Who knows how many times that this product has, gone into another person's hand to be marked up. But we already know, okay, for sure, the middleman I'm getting from, paid someone else, who paid someone else. That's already 3 steps. And then I'm making my margin. And then these people who, like, for example, one guy owned like a vape store, one guy owned, a convenience store. And it's already gone through, like 3, 4 hands, and they still want, oh, you give me some bulk pricing, give me $5, $10 off a box for my wholesale purchase of 5 boxes. And so just seeing this is like, okay, regardless of whether I want to make the deal or not, just looking at this kind of situation is just crazy. That if these other stores, like, if they're not getting distribution access, they still want a piece of the pie. And so they turn to like the local marketplaces, because they're not in this business, so they don't know to source the products from Japan. They're just in it for the short game, so they're like, okay, I'll buy local marketplace in bulk. But this just shows that how many people really want a piece of this pie, because even without the distributors, they're going just on Facebook to try and get a bulk deal from the big guy on Facebook, right? So all in all, I think literally every single person is trying to sell Pokemon cards, and it's become more and more evident. You know, I think it started in the 2020 boom, and it just continued, and it just got worse. It just got worse and worse, and the product is actually more and more diminished because the Pokemon company is intentionally restricting output. Honestly, it's literally like a terrible monopoly market, because they literally control 100% of the output of the Pokemon cards, and they are intentionally restricting it in order to artificially keep demand high, keep prices high, so they can keep lining their pockets for as long as possible. Honestly, that's fair play. Like, if I owned the Pokemon company and I was making billions restricting output, I do it, because it's not illegal. It's just not the best for the community, but it makes sense that it makes sense. Like, you can understand that they're doing this because they're profit driven, obviously. But you can't really, in the end, we can't control anybody but ourselves. So you can only really control how you react to this. I personally think within after the 30th anniversary, it does start to slow down, because we're already starting to see slowdowns, like Perfect Order, Chaos Rising. No one wants this, and nothing lasts forever. So I'm optimistic that in the near future we'll return back normal, and I can go back to pre-ordering as many cases of booster boxes of the new set from the distributor as I want. But for now, I think it's progressively getting worse and worse, until at one point all these people are going to get cooked when the demand falls off a cliff, you know, and within a short span of time, like within a month, the demand just falls off a cliff, and all these people reaching their hand in the pot, trying to get a slice of pie, they're gonna end up stuck with sports cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, all that, just because they want to buy Pokemon cards, and they end up with the perfect order equivalent 5 sets down the road, and nobody wants it, and they take a loss, and then they leave, and then in 5 years they come back. But that's just how I see it right now. I think it makes it infinitely worse for local card stores, and people like me, probably you, even if you're the end consumer. But especially if you're trying to run a small business, it's just infinitely worse for you. But it's all we can do is suck it up for now. I think it's just negatively contributing to the market as a whole. Let me know what you guys think, if you've noticed this at all near you. But yeah, that's it for this video. Subscribe to join the journey.